Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
And today's show runs Monday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is January 29th, 2018, and now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a Durango woman who died in a single car crash last Wednesday night north of Durango was identified Thursday as Tiffany Chancellor, age 47, according to the Colorado State Patrol. Chancellor was driving north on East Animas Road, County Road 250, about 8:45 p.m. when her 2003 Subaru Outback crossed the center line and went off the left side of the road, said Captain Adrian Driscoll of the State Patrol. The vehicle rolled two and a half times before landing upside down and partially submerged in an irrigation ditch, just south of Trimble Lane. Authorities suspect Chancellor was driving too fast and was under the influence of alcohol, Driscoll said. The Durango Police Department posted to its Facebook page Thursday morning that one of its officers jumped in the freezing water to assist firefighters in extracting the female occupant. After being pulled ashore, Corporal Seigan performed CPR on the female until paramedics were able to take over and transport her to Mercy Regional Medical Center, the Post said. Driscoll said Chancellor died around 3 a.m. Thursday at Mercy. The road was not icy and no other conditions are considered factors in the crash, he said.
A workshop on how to grow your farm and ranching business will be held February 2nd and 3rd in Cortez at the Empire Electric Conference Room. The event is free, but pre-registration is required, so you need to sign up on guidestonecolorado.org and look at that website for details. This is reported by the Journal in Cortez. On the first day, the agenda includes business planning, a producer resource panel, and resource inventory and self-assessment. On the second day, the topics are business action planning, scaling up wholesale success, a markets resource panel, and personal action planning and resource network developments. This workshop is ideal for aspiring farmers and ranchers who are exploring the possibility of starting or expanding an agricultural business. Participants undergo an in-depth exploration of their own vision and the core competencies and resources needed to support that vision. This course examines current trends, resources, case studies, and stories from experienced producers while digging into a framework to begin strategic business planning. The conference is hosted by Guidestone Colorado, the Colorado Tourism Office, Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, and Southwest Farm Fresh of Mancos. Information will be provided on long-range planning, farming efficiencies, and overcoming obstacles that are preventing expanded production, she said. Recognizing and acting on untapped agricultural markets is another opportunity. Through a grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program, these workshops also aim to support and enhance the success of the next generation of farmers and ranchers in southern Colorado. This 3-year initiative will develop a coordinated education and mentorship program to help train early farmers and prepare them to enter emerging wholesale and agritourism markets. Beginning producers in rural and remote areas often have limited marketing options available to them, said Dan Hobbs, cooperative specialist at the Rocky Mountain Farmers Union. That's why this multi-year cooperative project is so important to facilitate new choices, opportunities, and resources for family farmers throughout southern Colorado. According to the USD statistics, the number of young people entering farming continues to decline, but the number of new farmers and ranchers over the age of 35 rises, as does the number of smaller farms and ranches nationwide. Ensuring there will be a new generation of beginning farmers and ranchers, regardless of age or production, is especially important to the continuation of agricultural production in the U.S.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, employees saved the day at a giant gas station in Cortez Friday when a car on fire pulled up to the pumps. Heather McDonald happened to be following the burning Audi sedan into the 2021 East Main Street station and quickly informed employees. Station attendant Jackie Hood jumped into action, grabbing a fire extinguisher and calling 911 while she ran outside to douse the flames. At the same time, attendant Matilda Begay hit the emergency shutoff for the gas pumps. No one was injured and the emergency fire was extinguished. McDonald said when the driver stopped, he opened the hood and flames shot out everywhere, then he closed it. The Cortez Fire Protection District and Cortez Police quickly responded to the fire. Firefighters used a pry bar and bolt cutters to open the hood, which had become stuck closed as white smoke poured out the sides. Once open, they further doused the flames. It makes for an interesting shift, Begay said. It was not known what caused the fire. The driver was passing through Cortez.
Local police arm themselves with overdose reversal drugs and are saving lives, as reported in the Journal out of Cortez and the Durango Herald. Sergeant Nick Stasi with the Durango Police Department was on patrol the morning of August 19th when he responded to a call involving a 31-year-old man suffering from an opioid overdose. Stasi arrived at the scene shortly after 8:30 a.m. to find the man unconscious in his bedroom. He was quick to react and administered naloxone, undoubtedly saving the man's life. Naloxone, often known by the brand name Narcan, is a drug that counters the effects of an opioid overdose. Police departments across the country are starting to carry naloxone to save lives. Timing is key when someone is experiencing an opioid overdose, and without proper medical intervention, an overdose can be lethal. Police and first responders say they deal with chronic opioid users on a daily basis. In Colorado, 912 people died from overdoses in 2016, and 758 were unintentional, according to data from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Officers with the Durango Police Department started carrying naloxone at the beginning of 2017, which was supplied to them by the Colorado Naloxone for Life initiative. That initiative, led by the Attorney General's office, provides law enforcement and other first responders with training and access to naloxone. Deputies with the La Plata County Sheriff's Office started carrying naloxone about 4 months ago in response to the number of opioid overdoses in the county, said Sergeant Richard Page. Stasi said he is amazed by the effectiveness of naloxone in bringing someone out of an overdose. Someone can be on the brink of death and then alert and talking minutes later, he said. DPD officer John DiMatteo, a naloxone instructor, said every officer with the potential of being exposed to opioids is given naloxone. It's not just addicts who benefit from officers carrying naloxone. Accidental opioid overdoses by people with prescriptions are not uncommon, as Stasi has witnessed. A guy visiting Durango received a prescription from his dentist and accidentally took an extra dose, Stasi said. He went to the hotel and became unresponsive. This was a guy with a prescription and through forgetfulness took too much. Narcan is easy to use and it can save a life.
According to the Durango Herald, a former Fort Lewis College football player involved in a fatal shooting in March 2015 at the Iron Horse Inn had his prison sentence reduced by 1 year Friday in district court. Aaron Williams, then age 23, accompanied Tyree Augsbury Jones, also a former FLC football player, to the Iron Horse Inn at 5800 Main Avenue on March 16, 2015, where Augsbury Jones shot his former roommate Brian Keith Moore and Moore's roommate, Daniel Johnson. The shooting happened over an argument over marijuana plants. Moore survived, but Johnson was killed. Williams stole a tablet computer from the Iron Horse Inn and pleaded guilty to first-degree burglary and crime of violence. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison, and Augsbury Jones received 20 years for second-degree murder and 15 years for felony burglary. On Friday, Rick Carney advocated for a shorter sentence for his friend. He said, "I met Aaron about a year before the incident after my son, who was 8 at the time, got invited to work out with the football team. He was always a sincere, nice kid. He made a mistake," he said. Carney said he does not believe Williams is a danger to society. And now, let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Map, brought to you by Raytheon Data for the NOAA and National Weather Services, shows the high pressure still reigns supreme across most of the U.S., with continued snow and rain mix hitting the Pacific Northwest and some snow in Montana, and then snow across the Great Lakes, rain and snow into the mid-Atlantic and just off the coast, with rain and thunderstorms possible across much of Florida. Regionally, that high dry is holding in place once again, remaining over the western U.S. early this week, bringing dry northwest flow with winds over eastern Utah and western Colorado. Temperatures will continue warmer than normal through Wednesday. A series of weak disturbances will clip northwest Colorado late this week into the weekend, resulting in breezy conditions and a slight chance of light snow over the northern mountains. Their confidence that any significant snowfall will occur through next week remains low at this time. So locally on our 5-day outlook for DCTV, today sunny with a high near 45, north winds around 5 miles an hour becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Tonight mostly clear with a low around 26 degrees, northeast winds around 5 miles an hour becoming south-southeast after midnight. Then Tuesday mostly sunny with a high near 49, south winds 5 to 15. Tuesday night partly cloudy with a low around 28 degrees, south-southeast winds around 5 miles an hour. Wednesday mostly sunny with a high near 53, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming west-northwest in the afternoon. And then Wednesday night partly cloudy with a low around 27. Thursday mostly sunny with a high near 49. Thursday night partly cloudy with a low around 27. Friday mostly sunny with a high near 52 degrees. Friday night partly cloudy with a low around 27. Saturday sunny with a high near 51. And Saturday night mostly clear with a low around 28. So we need snow and rains, but as I wait for my tractor ignition replacement part to arrive, I'm happy it hasn't yet dumped a load of snow on us. The next shot at snow from AccuWeather forecast shows February 13th. In weather time, that's a long way off, so we'll just have to enjoy the current warmer weather for the time being. And now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, tax season is stressful enough without the added anxiety of IRS scams, and in La Plata County, a pervasive telephone scam is attempting to dupe taxpayers into giving criminals money. This isn't just in La Plata County, it's our entire location in Colorado. With the nation's tax season starting January 29th, phishing scams are expected to increase in frequency, said Stephen Osborne, a special agent in charge of IRS criminal investigation for the Denver field office. Osborne said many of the scammers posing as IRS officials are based in foreign countries. Last year, several people were arrested in India in connection with fraud, he said. The IRS always sends taxpayers a written notification of any due taxes via U.S. mail and will never demand credit card, debit card, or prepaid card information over the phone. The aggressive phone scams targeting taxpayers in La Plata County demand payment over the phone, threatening to arrest potential victims if they do not cooperate. Often these IRS scams come in the form of automated calls, sounding robotic but vaguely female. If someone receives a rejected tax return or a notification about a tax return that doesn't sync with one that was filed, it's often a sign of identity theft. The best way for people to protect their identity is to treat their social security information like cash, Osborne said. Phishing emails asking taxpayers to follow a link and provide banking information is another way scammers try to steal identities. More recently, organizations are falling victim to W-2 phishing scams. Scammers draft emails that look as though they are coming directly from the executive at an organization, asking the payroll department or human resource department to send a list of the organization's employees along with W-2 forms. The more realistic a scammer can make a tax return look, the less likely it'll get caught by the IRS filter.
From the Durango Herald, health care insurance for low-income children and pregnant women across Colorado will stay in place for years to come after a vote by U.S. Congress this past week. Uncertainty had swirled for months around the long-term federal funding for the Children's Health Insurance Program known as Child Health Plan Plus, or CHIP, in Colorado. The program benefits families that make too much to qualify for Medicaid and not enough to buy private insurance. As part of a resolution to keep the federal government operating, Congress approved 6 years of funding for the program. Enrollment requirements will not change as part of the funding extension. The continuation of federal funding for the CHIP Plus program is great news for local families and children, ensuring access to vital health and dental services and eliminating the prospect of a gap in these services, said Claire Ninde, spokesperson for San Juan Basin Public Health. The continued access to health care through the CHIP Plus program helps these children reach their highest potential for health. The extension will benefit about 950 La Plata County residents, 570 Montezuma County residents, and 84 Dolores County residents enrolled in the program. Congress allowed funding for the program to expire in September, and Colorado extended emergency funding for the program that would have allowed it to provide insurance through the end of February. Colorado will not have to spend the $9.6 million in emergency money it allocated for the program because federal funding was restored, said Mark Williams, a spokesman with the state. The state also does not need to be reimbursed for running the program in November and December because Colorado had funds dedicated for the program and money left over from a previous federal payment to keep the program operating. For more information, you can go online to co.gov.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, local government officials are honing in on a new campground to temporarily house homeless residents, but potential tenants are concerned the small parcel could disrupt privacy. In Durango and La Plata County officials are considering two locations for the camp: a 1-acre lot behind the Centennial Center in Bodo Industrial Park and a 1-acre lot off Avenida del Sol in West Durango near Mana's Soup Kitchen. Homeless residents currently camp in an undeveloped area north of the tech center and just west of Durango city limits. Officials worry it is a potential fire danger, especially during the summer. The sprawling location had about 45 campsites this summer, with 1 to 4 campers per campsite. Officials want to identify a new location by April. They set an aggressive schedule to identify and establish a new site to allow law enforcement to enforce camping bans in areas that are prone to wildlife and do not have proper sanitation. The whole point of this is to be able to keep people from camping where it's not safe or appropriate, said County Commissioner Julie Westerndorf. Officials selected the two sites from a list of 11 possible locations at a meeting last week. They settled on the two sites because they are closest to services and would help eliminate conflict between homeless residents and neighborhoods near western city limits. Many of the other sites had major flaws. For example, a site near the dog park is in a floodplain and cannot be accessed by vehicles according to city documents. The top two sites will be evaluated more extensively this summer. Staff will determine costs to develop the sites and capacity of the sites, among other factors, said Assistant City Manager Kevin Hall.
From the site coloradopolitics.com, when President Trump delivers his first State of the Union tomorrow, Tuesday night, many in Colorado hope there's something to be said about Colorado roads, at least indirectly, about how to pay for them. The question is whether Colorado will be giving or receiving in the system that now relies very heavily on federal fuel tax dollars and grant programs. Steering federal dollars into programs that don't help Colorado's interstates or transit would mean state lawmakers would have to dig even deeper into the state's often mentioned sofa cushions when they've found very little there in the past. Trump promised on the campaign trail to put $1 trillion over 10 years into the nation's roads, tunnels, airports, and harbors. Tuesday night, Colorado will find out for certain what that looks like. The government is expected to offer up $200 billion in tax dollars in the hopes of attracting private investors or privatization. Former State Department of Transportation Executive Director Shaylin Bott told Colorado Politics last summer that they could only mean one thing in Colorado, a place where no harbors or significant regional transit, making deals with private toll companies to monetize Colorado's traffic. That means tolls. On the other hand, Colorado needs a state projected $20 billion in investment in roads, bridges, and transit over the next 2 decades to keep traffic and people moving. When Colorado Politics asked U.S. Senator Cory Gardner on Friday at the Outdoor Retailers Show in Denver what he expects to hear from the president and leader of his party, infrastructure was a quick answer. I think there'll be a lot on infrastructure, Gardner said. Details are starting to emerge right now from what we're hearing. I think there will be a lot of talk about the benefits in the tax bill and what it means for investments in this country. He pointed to newly announced hiring and pay raises since the Republicans and Trump pushed through tax cuts. This will be President Trump's technically first State of the Union address. It interrupts all programming running from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern, so that's Mountain Time locally, 7 to 8:30 p.m. And then some stations will discuss what their agenda is after it's completed. And if you are tech savvy, there are plenty of places online where you can watch it live streaming as well.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Cortez Recreation Center's community garden will be open to the public this planting season. Kirby Vaughn, an outreach coordinator for the volunteer group Common Ground Cortez Community Gardens, sent out a news release on Friday saying the group is ready to open 10 new plots for Montezuma County residents to use. Common Ground has managed the garden located just south of the Recreation Center since summer of 2017. harvesting most of its crops for the Good Samaritan Food Pantry. Families and individuals can enter a lottery-style drawing for the new plots until February 16th. Some of the garden's vegetables will continue to go to the Good Samaritan, but the new plots will be in charge of growing and harvesting their own food. According to the release, the garden has large plots for families, smaller ones for individuals, and one handicap-accessible plot. Each one comes with access to water, soil, and tools throughout the growing season. Anyone can sign up for a garden plot free of charge, but once the plots become available in the spring, those who receive them will have to pay $15 per season for families or $7 per season for individuals. Everyone who enters the drawing but doesn't get a plot this year will go on a waiting list. Lottery winners will be announced on February 19th. Would-be gardeners can sign up for the drawing at the Recreation Center, the Cortez Public Library, or any of Common Ground's 11 business partners, which include both Cliff Rose Garden Center locations, the Cortez Cultural Center, Four Seasons Greenhouse and Nursery, and several others. Plot reservations are also available at Common Ground's website. The volunteer group announced its plans to expand the community garden in November with support from the Cortez Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Advisory Board. According to the release, construction on the addition should be finished in time for planting.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings, Tuesday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m., the Dolores Rotary Club is hosting bingo and soup supper to benefit the Bridge Emergency Shelter in Cortez. Dinner starts at 6:30 p.m. and bingo starts around 7 p.m. at the Dolores Community Center. It's $5 per person for soup supper and $10 per card for bingo with 4 games on each card. They will also be auctioning off desserts to help raise money and will be taking any general donations on their behalf, and any dessert donations for the auction can be brought in that evening. Online donations can be made directly to the Bridge Shelter by going to thebridgeshelter.org/donate-online. Saturday, February 3rd, starting at 4 p.m., the 3rd annual Putt-Putt Tournament starts at the Cortez Cultural Center. Join Onward, a Legacy Foundation, as they putt their way around downtown Cortez for a good cause. Gather a team of 4, choose your favorite decade, and dress up as that, and as a team, play to support Onward's general fund. Register online or at the Onward office. Space is limited and individual players are welcome as well. Tickets are $75 for individuals and $275 for teams of 4 before February 1st. For more details, go online to onwardfoundation.org. And as part of the Durango Snowdown event, on February 2nd, the Snowdown Parade is hosted by Central Flood Management. That's Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. in Durango. This year, they are celebrating 40 years of Snowdown, the original cabin fever reliever. There's a lot going on all week long. Check out the happenings on their Facebook page or online at snowdown.org. All of these happenings are posted on the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. You can email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon, Monday through Thursday, and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. That's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.